There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking inside my head. I want them sentenced to death. She's saying she wants those kids died, and she knows damn well that's why they want her to die. We are not the same. Fuck you. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists impregnating people like myself and prepping and preparing and trafficking their kids to be murdered, okay? So that they can use them for an excuse to get behind the money, that get behind the telepathy war weapon that they're using to talk into my head, to launder money and then have kids with the men that they're murdering with, and then go spoil them and have them inherit the money. These bitches are trying to manipulate records. They're trying to get them destroyed. They're trying to do everything possible. And they've been talking in my head for 8 years. I don't know them. I don't owe them money. I don't like. There's no relationship between us at all. These psycho bitches treat people like they're acting like the people that they traffic are their possessions. I want those bitches to die. They'll retard me when I'm working. They retard me when I'm at school. They retard me when I'm they fucked with my transactions. They're trying to fuck my credit up. Like, they're trying to ruin my driving record. They're trying to see if they could get me to do street drugs. They retard me in front of everyone so that I look on a, like, they don't want me to have chemistry with anyone. So they'll play with my head and my face and make sure that I have no money, so I have no experience in anything. I mean, literally anything. No, this is how psycho they are, and they're doing this to my daughter. No work experience, no school experience, no hobbies. Okay? No hobbies, no work, no travel. I can't travel. They don't want me to. They're trying to force me, like, I want to. I have a desire to do these things, but they want to force me away from anything that would be would make me interesting to other people. So that there is no camera footage of me, there's no credible people to witness that I'm trying, or to remember me, so that there's no, they want to make sure there's nothing left for me. They want to fuck with my credit, traffic me into a shithole of an apartment, and then call me ugly, see if I'll be desperate enough to sleep with some loser who wants to do drugs and wants to sit around, and that's it. No work, no nothing. And do drugs and have sex and stay away from everyone and then we go kill ourselves because they've been torturing me. They want me to neglect my kids. They don't want me involved in any way, shape, or form. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. My kids, she's playing with my head like, okay, this is how stupid you are. And I want you to know, it wasn't me who said subsequently. It was the bitch talking in my head. Because she's actually retarded me to the point where I'm illiterate. So subsequently, like the bitch said in my head, my daughter, she's not doing well in school. I can't pay for her tutoring. I have to go fight the board to pay for her tutoring. I can't put her in a sport. I can't put her, and when while she's in tutoring, they're retarding her. They're laughing like, ha ha. So the school board they won't fund her next tutoring gig. She hasn't played a sport, an instrument. They've trafficked, and all her friends play sports, so they all get together and they leave Leah behind. These bitches are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're hurting her intentionally. I want the sluts to die. You hear me? I want those bitches to die. They're women. I'm not fucking playing. I want the bitches to die. And the bitches that are laundering money, in order to get behind the weapon, they need to barbarically murder people. Like, there has to be a reason. So they're trafficking and framing people for the crimes they're committing. Plus, they're sitting behind that weapon 24/7, so they clearly have money. On top of the fact that weapon has security measures on it, and those measures, he's saying, go eat. He's a piece of shit. I want him in a casket with his kids too. It has security measures on it, and that it times out because overexposure can injure you, cause you cancer, whatever. So the terrorists, what they do, when the way it will remain on its subject, whoever it is that they're targeting, myself, and several others, okay, they'll torture them with the weapon, like from a different location. So it's not like, so it's another guy who's behind the weapon, okay, he has permission to permissions and his own credentials. So they'll attack me from different locations with the war weapon to keep the weapon that's supposed to be like investigating me from depositing the record and concluding the investigation. So because it will read unidentified foreign bodies in my body, and it will remain on me and reset the clock. Excuse me. So it's like literally every second of the day. So the little weapon must not like be on you for more than like a couple of minutes, maybe a minute, couple minutes. And the bitches talking in my head are screaming, "Go fucking die. We want your kids to die. Ha ha ha." And like all their little tactics to get me not to say anything. Like, "We want your kids to die. And if you go tell people that we want your kids to die, bitch, they're going to think you're suicidal. And they're going to institutionalize you and take away all your gun privileges." I was like, I'm going to call the cops immediately. I called the cops, told them. Of course, they did institutionalize me. They took my gun rights, which is fine. I don't give a fuck about a gun. These bitches are talking in my head with an invisible, like nobody can detect it with any of their five senses. There's no indication, like nothing to indicate that they're using it. Okay, other than whoever gave them permissions to talk into my head. Them and whoever has access to the records, which must have much higher clearances than the terrorists, because the terrorists talking in my head don't have access to the records. And I'm sure if it's one or the other, you can choose to have the records or you can choose to have the weapon. Maybe. I don't know. I guess if one clears and their file and is able to get away with manipulating it and destroying it, getting it destroyed, which would only be if I die, and literally there's absolutely no significance whatsoever. And I mean no medical significance, no criminal significance, meaning they have not, like, they can't use it for anything at all. And which is why the terrorists don't want me, and they don't want me encountering someone just in case we're all pieces to a puzzle for a crime that's committed, and they want to just see who was where at what time and when. Just in case someone tries to hurt me, then the government gets involved, especially because I'm saying Egyptian American Muslim terrorists are talking in my head or whatever, so and then more so that and the medical, and if there's a medical significance to it, like, okay, this can be something to contribute to science, maybe it's something different than the rest of the records, and it will provide evidence. So I mean, in my case, it's gonna say, well, Renee hears voices, she's recording, and the argument that the terrorists make is gonna be different than the findings of the AI, whatever it is. So it must read through all of the records and see if there's any statistical significance. Or first it must like jot down like certain things that are like, okay, consistently there was this that happened, this that happened, this that happened. There's a crime, or there's her hair fell out, or and there are medical records to prove it. And they'll pull up, it will probably pull up all those records, save them, um, to have. And the terrorist talking in my head, sorry, they're playing with my head right now. Um, what was I saying? And the terrorists talking in my head want to say there was a crime committed, but none that was reported or like so. But it was obvious on my record that there were voices like that I heard, which I did hear, that no one reported, but that's because no one's talking. No one hears them because they're talking in my head. And to say, hey, we need to investigate this further. Someone's saying murder, murder, murder. So it's going to be, obviously, it's going to cause a conflict between the findings of the computer and what these terrorists have to say, which will keep, and then they have to argue, well, if that's the case, there are findings that it's clearly in her head. Why didn't you come forward and prove it, that it was outside, it was happening all the time, and it's because it's them. The terrorists they're talking in my head, and apparently they have arguments for that. So I want to make sure that on my part, because what their arguments are is that all the records got deleted and they were waiting for an actual, maybe they were waiting for a crime. I don't know if that's a crime in itself. Um, um, maybe me committing suicide gives them. Maybe they'll say, yeah, but she heard somebody and she committed suicide, and the suicide justifies them to be behind the weapon. Who knows? But they're waiting for all these records outside to be destroyed. All the camera footage of when you're in a hotel, or because I'm in a hotel and there's cameras right outside my door, so when I walk in and out, it sees me. They want to make sure all of that gets destroyed, and they can turn around and say everything is destroyed, and the only record present is her, the one of her, of the one that's produced with the weapon, and have entitlements to that, or whatever. Maybe that'll justify getting it destroyed. I don't know. They're playing with my head right now. But yeah, so essentially there's a way to destroy to get rid of the evidence of all the crimes they've committed. And they're trying to steer me into that box. And I guess me making money, I don't know. And here's the part that's like baffling. Like, why? I guess to remain behind the weapon, they want to, they want to, they need an excuse while they're behind the weapon. And so while they're committing all their crimes, they need me tucked away from everyone, so it looks like they have a reason to investigate. Because if I'm around credible people and making money and there's no sign of any crime occurring, and no medical, and I'm not experiencing any medical conditions, which I am. This is a medical condition. What they're doing to me is actually medical. It's criminal and medical. They're not just stealing from me. These bitches are murdering me. And they're using a war weapon to torture me to death. They made my hair fall out, like 90% of my hair fall out, just so on and so forth. So they're causing me a stroke. What was I saying? Because they're playing with my head. Yeah, so it's ongoing. They're trying to get me to kill myself, trying to steer me away from people. Um, oh, and they were, like I said, they were saying, "Oh, you're there." I said that already. What else? Yeah, I mean, they're after murdering me and laundering money, and they don't want anybody to because other agencies are investigating, or all these agencies, government and entities. This is a terrorist organization that's talking in my head, but government agencies are clearly out investigating these terrorists. So they're looking from the outside in, because obviously the terrorists wouldn't be doing what they're doing if they were auditing them. Not auditing them, but if they were like micromanaging or managing them. Um, Excuse me, he's making me throw up. So the terrorists are obviously free agents, and that while they're conducting the investigation, it's confidential. They can invite any of the terrorists that are involved in their investigation to enter and talk into my head and torture me to death. Um, Family, friends. So it's like I said, they're all family. But it doesn't seem like they can move the computer that they're using to a different location, because never have they. Well, I don't know. I guess if they move it around, they have to turn it off, which would then end the investigation. So it keeps them. It seems like it keeps them stationary. Uh, um, he's hurting my toe right now. They're doing something to my toe, and it's hurting. Like, it's hurting badly. Last night, my feet. I was getting ready to get up and make a video. Uh, they kept doing something to my toe. I have homework to do. Um, so, God, they're trying to make me yawn like this is boring stuff. It's tiring. It's day after day of them trying to get away with murdering me. And it's every second of the fucking day. Um, and I have kids. Oh my God. They impregnated me to use my kids to traffic and murder, so that they can get back behind the weapon. That's the should use my words. I was actually going to say implication. That's the implication that that I received, but they're playing with my head. She's trying to make it sound like they're forcing words out of my mouth. They want me to sound retarded. I don't know them. I don't owe them money. They've trafficked me into poverty. Um, and I don't do drugs. I'm not an alcohol. Like, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't. What else? I come from a really well off family. Nobody has schizophrenia. Um, so my dad had coronary heart disease. My sis coronary. I say culinary. I don't know. Anyway, so um, the and my sister is diabetic. She has Graves' eye disease. Uh, and diabetes. She has thyroid. She had something wrong with her thyroid, and the terrorists talking in my head don't want me writing that on any of my records. Because I'm going after. I've done a few plastic. They botched the work. I went and I did 2 different plastic surgery procedures. I've done a mommy makeover. First, I did a lipo 360 with a BBL. Then I did mommy makeover, and I came back a third time because both times they botched it. Found another doctor um, who completely contoured my body. Did lipo 360. Uh, I still see that there's like little stuff that needs to be done. Not nearly as um, evasive as the procedures I've currently done. So I intend to come back, and they're trying to they want to botch my bodies to make me keep coming back. Like they're murderers. They're sick in the fucking head, dude. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head. I want them to die. They already drugged my daughter one time. My doctor from it's them screaming in my head. I told him I had insomnia because I didn't know how else do you explain if people don't know there is such a weapon because they're not of a financial bracket, and then they're under the influence of the weapon. They may or may not be, and it's like, and it's just the way the government discusses it is through medical conditions. So I'm telling him I have insomnia because of the voices I hear. And so he tells me, well, the trazodone is a little high. Why don't you try medicinal marijuana? So I bought gummies. So first and last time I'll ever do that. My daughter, 12 or 11 at the time, I had stuck it in my underwear drawer, right? And my daughter, being that my family is so innocent, went into my underwear drawer, or I guess she was looking for pajamas. And the terrorists talking in my head were the only ones who knew where I put it. I tucked it in there intentionally so my kids don't see it. And she went in there and took like 3 or 4. And I rushed her to emergency. And then they drugged my daughter, and it can give you a heart attack. And then CPS came. CPS said, "What is this for?" I told them exactly what happened. They closed the case. Uh, my son, they played with his scrotum. I had to rush him to the hospital in the middle of the night. And then and then they trafficked him into a car accident and totaled the vehicle. The terrorist talking in my head. And they keep saying, "Go fucking die," in my head. I want those bitches to die, you hear me? They're laughing. I want those bitches to die. I want to make it so fucking clear. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to fucking death, you hear me? They're talking in my head. They're serial killers. And before I go, the list of people that they've murdered, from my understanding, are Mark and Jacob Iskander, 2 15-year-old boys, a 22-year-old girl, and a couple, and they critically injured the driver, who is now facing murder charges. although he was not intoxicated. Um, Sorry, they're playing with my head like yawn, like it's boring. Mark and Jacob Iskander, the boys, the five people in the car accident. They murdered Dr. Georgia, Amina Sarasad, Bernadette Oloskov, David Basili, CK, CJ, Thomas, Jerry, Morrow, Kiro, Shady, Le'Veon, D'Lo. They murdered some kids from Tesoro. One that hung himself, I believe. The other ones were in a car accident. They murdered Florence Joyner Jr., Aaliyah. They murdered Heidi Iskander's old boss's husband, a motorcycle cop. They murdered in a car accident. They murdered a. That's them. I knocked out last night. I took a trazodone and I took a painkiller. They're forcing me to yawn. I know there's more to that list. I said shady. Ow, they're hurting me. They're hurting me. Miriam's parents, her mom, her mom, it was a car accident. Her mom blew up in the car, and her dad had a sudden heart attack from watching her blow up and died on the spot. While they were like 7 or 8 and 11 or something, and left those girls orphans. These are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them to fucking die. You hear me? They're talking inside my head. I want those bitches to die.